I gotta get healthy. I got things to do. What are we supposed to do?
Mr. Wright.
In the dazzling glare of fame behind the glittering lights and roaring applause lies a hidden world of secrets, betrayal, and untold struggles. Legends fall, icons battle invisible enemies, and the very pulse of stardom hides tragedies that will shock you. From untimely deaths to life-altering revelations, this is the untold story of courage, scandal, and the human spirit tested like never before. Are you ready to uncover the truth then? Bobby DeBarge. The magnetic lead singer of the R&B group Switch lived a life that sparkled under stage lights, yet hid shadows darker than the music he made. Born into the famed DeBarge family, his soaring falsetto could captivate any crowd, but offstage, a dangerous obsession with heroin had already taken root at the tender age of 15, setting him on a path of self-destruction. Fame became both a refuge and a trap, as the pressures of the industry collided with his addiction, spiraling into a nightmare of arrests and prison time. Inside those cold prison walls, his body began to betray him. An unrelenting cough revealed a devastating secret: he was HIV positive. Released into a world that had moved on without him, Bobby fought to reclaim his music, but the relentless march of his illness eroded the very life force that once enchanted audiences worldwide. On August 16, 1995, at just 39, the world lost a voice that had defined a generation of R&B, leaving behind a haunting tale of brilliance, vulnerability, and the merciless consequences of choices made too early and lived too recklessly. Bobby DeBarge's story remains a gripping testament to the dazzling highs and harrowing lows of life in the spotlight, a stark reminder of the fragility behind fame's seductive glow. Eric Eazy-E Wright. Eric Wright, famously known as Eazy-E, was a force that reshaped the world of hip-hop. As a founding member of the legendary rap group N.W., he became the voice of a generation, bringing the raw, unfiltered realities of street life to the forefront of music. His towering presence and fearless lyrics cemented his status as a cultural icon. But behind the fame lurked a silent, deadly adversary that would soon challenge everything he stood for. In 1995, the unstoppable energy that had defined Eazy-E's life began to falter. After collapsing suddenly while practicing music, he faced the shocking revelation that HIV had invaded his body, leading to AIDS-related pneumonia. The diagnosis was swift, and the consequences even swifter. Fans and colleagues were stunned. The man who had once seemed untouchable, invincible, was now in a fight he could not control. The tension between his larger-than-life persona and his vulnerability made his struggle all the more haunting, exposing the fragility hidden behind the bravado of hip-hop royalty. Eazy-E passed away on March 26, 1995, leaving a void in the music industry that could never be filled. Yet his influence lives on through the raw power of his lyrics and the cultural revolution he helped ignite. David Cole. David Cole, co-founder of the groundbreaking music group C+C Music Factory, was a prodigy whose beats and melodies dominated the early 90s airwaves. With hits like Gonna Make You Sweat and Here We Go, he became the architect of a generation's dance floor anthems, blending infectious rhythms with a relentless creative drive. Behind the music, however, a private storm was brewing, one that would soon eclipse his bright electric talent. In January 1995, at the age of just 32, tragedy struck. After a prolonged battle with illness, David succumbed to spinal meningitis, a sudden, shocking end that sent shockwaves through the music world. Whispers swirled that AIDS might have played a role, a reflection of the fear and stigma that surrounded the disease at the time. fans mourned the abrupt loss of a visionary left to grapple with questions that could never be fully answered, and a career that had ended far too soon. Despite his untimely death, David Cole's influence reverberated long after he was gone. His music inspired countless artists and tributes, like Mariah Carey's One Sweet Day with Boys II. Men immortalized his spirit. David's story is a striking reminder of the fragility of genius, the silent battles fought behind the scenes, and the indelible mark one visionary artist can leave on the world, both in rhythm and in legend. Sharon Redd. Sharon Redd was a multi-talented singer-dancer and songwriter whose energy could electrify any stage. Born into a family steeped in music, she honed her craft from an early age, lending her voice as a background singer, before stepping into the spotlight as a solo artist in the early 1980s. With disco hits like Love How You Feel and In the Name of Love, she soared up the charts, captivating audiences with her charisma, commanding performances, and infectious rhythm. The world saw her as unstoppable, yet behind the dazzling lights, shadows of illness quietly loomed. In May 1992, tragedy struck. Sharon's once vibrant life was cut short when complications from AIDS-related pneumonia took her away. The disease had silently advanced, a cruel adversary hidden beneath the glamour and glitter of her career. Fans were shocked, the music world mourned, and the gap left by her absence was felt deeply. The stage that had once been her sanctuary now became a haunting reminder of the fragility behind fame's intoxicating allure. Sharon Redd's legacy, however, continues to resonate. Her songs remain timeless, capturing the essence of a golden era of music and the spirit of an artist who gave everything to her craft. Have you ever heard any of her disco hits? Press 1 if you have, and 3 if you haven't. Willi Smith. Willi Smith was hailed as one of the most influential young black fashion designers in history, a visionary whose creations set the stage ablaze with boldness and innovation. At the height of his career, his brand Willi Wear Limited was raking in over $25 million in sales, a testament to his genius and daring approach to fashion. He was admired not only for his creativity, but also for his ability to push boundaries, crafting designs that challenged norms and celebrated individuality. Yet beneath the glamorous runway lights, a silent threat loomed, one that would change the course of his life forever. On April 17, 1987, the fashion world was rocked by shocking news. Willi Smith had passed away at just 39. Initially hospitalized for shingles and pneumonia, the devastating truth emerged: his death was related to AIDS. Strikingly, Willi had been unaware of his HIV-positive status, showing no outward symptoms until it was too late. The revelation sent ripples through the fashion industry, highlighting the deadly stealth of the disease and the vulnerability even the brightest stars could face when hidden battles remained unseen. Despite the tragedy, Willi Smith's influence endures. His innovative designs continue to inspire generations of designers, his bold vision echoing in every runway that embraces creativity without compromise. Willi Smith remains a symbol of brilliance and a reminder of the unspoken struggles many face behind the dazzling world of fame. Sylvester James Jr. Sylvester James Jr., the flamboyant queen of disco, lit up stages with his dazzling persona and soulful falsetto, thrilling audiences worldwide with hits like You Make Me Feel Mighty Real. Behind the sequins and spotlight, however, a personal tragedy was unfolding. His partner, Rick Kramer, had been diagnosed with HIV in 1985, and the disease quickly claimed Kramer's life in 1987. The heartbreak shattered Sylvester, forcing him to confront the terrifying possibility that he too might be infected. Despite suspecting his own health, Sylvester initially avoided testing, clinging to hope, while battling a persistent cough that worsened over months. When medical tests finally confirmed the devastating truth he had AIDS, Sylvester faced a grim reality with remarkable courage. As his health declined, he used his fame to raise awareness about the epidemic, speaking out against stigma and dedicating royalties from his music to AIDS charities. His fight became as much about survival as it was about advocacy, turning personal tragedy into a beacon of hope. On December 16, 1988, at just 41, Sylvester passed away, leaving behind a legacy of unforgettable music and unyielding courage. His life remains a stirring reminder of love loss and resilience in the face of unimaginable adversity. Charlie Barnett. Charlie Barnett emerged as a comedic force in the vibrant, chaotic streets of late 1970s New York City. His razor-sharp wit, magnetic charm, and fearless humor quickly set him apart, drawing audiences into a world where laughter masked life's struggles. Rising through the ranks of the comedy scene, Barnett carved a name for himself, with unforgettable roles like Tyrone in DC Cab and the lovable Nui on Miami Vice, captivating viewers with a blend of humor, charisma, and depth that promised a career destined for greatness. But behind the laughter, shadows loomed. As his fame grew, so did the hidden battle that would define the final chapter of his life. The vibrant performer who brought so much joy to countless fans was silently wrestling with AIDS. The diagnosis, a cruel and unrelenting adversary, threatened to snatch away the energy and life force that had once electrified stages and screens. Friends, colleagues, and fans were stunned watching as a comedic genius struggled in silence against a disease that showed no mercy. On March 16, 1996, at the age of 41, Charlie Barnett succumbed to AIDS, leaving the world mourning a talent gone too soon. Yet his impact endures through laughter, inspiration, and the countless performers he influenced, including modern icons like Dave Chappelle. Larry Riley. Larry Riley, celebrated for his unforgettable performances as C.J. Memphis in A Soldier Story and Frank Williams on Knots Landing, was a talent whose presence commanded the screen. His nuanced acting brought depth and authenticity to every role, captivating audiences and critics alike. Offstage, however, Riley waged a silent war battling HIV in a time when stigma and fear surrounded the disease. Determined to maintain his public persona, he kept his diagnosis a closely guarded secret, even as his body began to betray him. As the illness progressed, Larry's physical transformation became increasingly noticeable, prompting colleagues to speculate, while he carefully attributed his weight loss to kidney failure caused by high blood pressure. Behind closed doors, he confronted the relentless toll of AIDS, navigating the dual pressures of a demanding career and a life-threatening disease. His courage in facing this hidden struggle while continuing to deliver exceptional performances exemplified the resilience and dignity that defined both his life and his art. On June 6, 1992, at just 38, Larry Riley passed away, leaving a void in the entertainment world. It was only after his death that his wife revealed the truth of his HIV status, shedding light on the silent battles he fought in private. The cruel stigma of HIV/AIDS and the enduring impact of a gifted actor who inspired audiences while battling a devastating personal truth. Max Robinson. Max Robinson was a trailblazer, the first African-American news anchor to gain national prominence in the United States. Rising through the ranks of broadcast journalism, he became a respected voice on ABC News and World News, tonight delivering the news with authority, charisma, and an unwavering commitment to truth. Behind the camera, however, Robinson faced a private, terrifying battle that contrasted sharply with the composed, confident persona. The public knew his health was deteriorating, silently ravaged by AIDS. In December 1987, a hospitalization for pneumonia revealed the shocking reality. Despite the widespread speculation and fear surrounding the disease, Robinson and his family chose to keep his illness private, grappling with the stigma while maintaining his dignity. His body weakened, yet he continued to speak about the importance of education and awareness, particularly within the Black community, highlighting the urgent need for understanding prevention and treatment in a time when misinformation and fear were rampant. Tragically, on December 23, 1988, Max Robinson passed away, leaving the world mourning a pioneering journalist whose courage extended far beyond the newsroom. In his final wish, he asked his family to reveal his AIDS diagnosis, transforming personal tragedy into a powerful statement that would educate and inspire countless others. Esquerita. Esquerita was a force to be reckoned with, a virtuoso pianist, electrifying R&B singer, and visionary songwriter whose dynamic performances could captivate any audience. His frenetic energy on stage and fearless experimentation in music earned him a reputation as a pioneer, influencing legends like Little Richard and inspiring generations of musicians. Known for pushing boundaries, Esquerita seemed unstoppable, a creative whirlwind whose talent radiated far beyond the studio and stage lights. Yet behind the glamour and acclaim, a silent predator lurked. As the 1980s unfolded, Esquerita's brilliance was threatened by a devastating illness, AIDS. The disease crept silently, eroding his strength, even as he continued to pour every ounce of energy into his performances. Fans were unaware of the private battle waging behind his powerful voice and commanding presence, a struggle hidden beneath the mask of showmanship and stage charisma. On October 23, 1986, Esquerita's life was tragically cut short, leaving the world mourning a talent whose potential seemed limitless. Though his time was brief, his influence reverberates through music, history. His groundbreaking contributions to R&B and rock and roll, ensuring that his name and legacy will never be forgotten. Gil Scott-Heron. Gil Scott-Heron was a visionary artist, a poet and musician whose work cut deep into the social and political fabric of his time. Known for groundbreaking tracks like "The Revolution Will Not Be Televised," he dissected the struggles of Black Americans with razor-sharp insight, blending rhythm and poetry into a voice that could not be ignored. His performances were electrifying, his lyrics fearless, yet beneath the public persona, Gil faced battles far more intimate and devastating than any stage could reveal. Years of drug and alcohol abuse had taken a toll, and a shocking revelation added another layer of peril: he had contracted HIV. The news cast a long shadow over the man whose music had inspired generations, highlighting the invisible struggle behind his creative genius. Fans heard his powerful voice, but few knew of the silent war he fought within, a battle against both the disease and the personal demons that had haunted him for decades. On May 27, 2011, at the age of 62, Gil Scott-Heron passed away in a New York hospital, leaving behind a legacy steeped in artistry, activism, and uncompromising truth. While the precise cause of death remained undisclosed, his HIV diagnosis and the health struggles that accompanied it undeniably shaped his final years. Kevin Peter Hall. Kevin Peter Hall was a towering presence in Hollywood, literally and figuratively. Best known for his unforgettable role as the alien hunter in Predator and the gentle Bigfoot in Harry and the Hendersons, his immense stature and commanding performances captivated audiences worldwide. Off-screen, However, Kevin's life was marked by love and partnership with actress Elena Reed, whose shared passion for the arts was a sanctuary amid the pressures of fame. In 1990, a life-threatening car accident led to a critical blood transfusion, and with it a shocking diagnosis: Kevin had contracted HIV. The news was devastating, a hidden enemy that advanced silently while the world continued to celebrate his talent. Despite his courage and resilience, the disease relentlessly undermined his health, transforming a seemingly invincible Hollywood figure into a man facing an urgent and invisible battle. The juxtaposition of his powerful on-screen presence and his private vulnerability added a tragic dimension to his story, leaving fans both inspired and heartbroken. On April 10, 1991, just shy of his 36th birthday, Kevin Peter Hall succumbed to AIDS-related pneumonia, a life cut far too short. Yet his legacy endures in the iconic roles that defined a generation of cinema, a testament to his skill, dedication, and the humanity that shone through every performance. Howard Rollins. Howard Rollins rose to fame with his groundbreaking role as Captain Davenport in A Soldier's Story, a performance that showcased his raw talent and earned him critical acclaim. He later captured hearts as Virgil Tibbs on the television adaptation of In the Heat of the Night, bringing depth, intensity, and authenticity to a character that became iconic. Behind the scenes, however, Rollins wrestled with personal demons, including drug addiction and legal troubles, shadows that threatened to overshadow his rising star. As the pressures of fame collided with his private battles, Rollins's life took a devastating turn. His addiction forced him to leave In the Heat of the Night after its 6th season, and just weeks later, he received the shocking diagnosis of AIDS. The disease moved swiftly, a hidden predator attacking the very body that had carried him through countless performances. Fans and colleagues were left stunned, witnessing a vibrant talent confronting a silent, relentless adversary that no script could prepare him for. Howard Rollins passed away in 2006, leaving a legacy of unforgettable performances and a cautionary tale of talent caught between brilliance and vulnerability. Through his art, Rollins continues to inspire, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the indelible mark a true actor can leave on the world, even in the face of devastating illness. Franklin Seals. Franklin Seals was a charismatic television actor, beloved for his roles as Lorenzo Hollingsworth on Amen and Dexter Stuffins on Silver Spoons. His performances radiated warmth, humor, and authenticity, leaving a lasting impression on audiences and colleagues alike. Behind the camera, however, Seals faced an insidious adversary, an illness that would silently shape the final chapter of his life, threatening to snatch away the vibrant energy that had made him a household name. In 1987, while filming the first season of Amen, Seals began experiencing a persistent cough, a subtle harbinger of a devastating disease. As the years progressed, his health continued to decline, interfering with his work and gradually stealing the vitality that had once defined his career. Despite the challenges, Seals carried on, demonstrating remarkable resilience, all while privately contending with AIDS, a disease that carried not only physical hardship, but also social stigma during a period of widespread fear and misunderstanding. Tragically, on May 14, 1990, at just 37, Franklin Seals passed away from complications related to AIDS. His ashes were scattered in the Caribbean Sea, honoring his heritage and spirit. Though his life was cut short, Seals's legacy endures through his memorable performances, the joy he brought to television audiences, and his quiet courage in facing an invisible battle. Chad Kinch. Chad Kinch, a professional basketball player for the Cleveland Cavaliers and Dallas Mavericks during the 1980s, seemed destined for greatness on the court. With every dribble and shot, he showcased extraordinary talent, promising a career that could rival the legends of the game. Yet behind the roar of the crowd and the bright lights of the arena, Chad was battling demons that no fan could see, struggles with drug addiction that would slowly unravel his life and career. As his personal battles intensified, they began to overshadow his athletic achievements. Chad's addiction spiraled out of control, affecting his relationships, behavior, and ultimately his place in professional basketball. But the hidden danger went deeper. In April 1994, he was diagnosed with HIV, a revelation that would mark the beginning of an even more harrowing fight. The disease advanced relentlessly, weakening the body of a man who had once seemed invincible on the hardwood, exposing the harsh realities behind fame, talent, and human vulnerability. Alvin Ailey. Alvin Ailey was a trailblazing modern dancer and choreographer whose vision reshaped the world of dance. Born in 1931 in Rogers, Texas, he rose from humble beginnings to establish the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater in 1958, creating a platform that celebrated Black culture and artistic innovation. His groundbreaking choreography, especially the 1960 masterpiece Revelations, blended gospel blues and spiritual music, captivating audiences worldwide and cementing his legacy as one of the most influential figures in dance history. Yet behind the brilliance of his performances, Ailey faced personal challenges that remained largely hidden from the public. He was diagnosed with an AIDS-related illness, a silent adversary that threatened to cut short the life of a man whose energy and creativity seemed boundless. Despite his declining health, Ailey remained committed to his art, using dance as a medium for empowerment and cultural expression, refusing to let the disease define or diminish his impact.